We are back. Detroit City Sportscast. Adam Hernandez, Garrett Comatz. Garrett, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, Adam. We're what, almost at the half. Tomorrow is the past halfway point of October. Uh Shit's bananas. We have one sport done, another sport begun, another sport about to begin. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
We got a lot to get to tonight, so we're just gonna go ahead and dive right into it. I want to start off with the Lions, and I want to talk about a revelation that was made apparent today. I believe it was on 97.1. What was on 97.1? Dan Campbell was on the morning show this morning, and he basically said that um, the offi that the official said the illegal motion call on Jared Goff TDK came from New York. It was a it was a it was a replay that was initiated by the head offices, NFL headquarters in New York City. And the problem with this is that it was originally conveyed to the Lions by the officials that New York had zero part in what happened with that play. Basically, what the Lions thought was that the officials at Arrowhead Sunday night were the ones that made that call. And I'm going to read
Referee
this.
post, yeah, I was going to say referee post match in the interview after the game Sunday had mentioned because Jared Goff went behind the center in a T formation, he then had to be still when the ball was snapped. Whereas had he stayed in a shotgun formation and then went into the motion, that would have been good.
And the problem is, though, with that is that play isn't reviewable.
Right.
Apparently, and this comes from Pro Football Talk. The trick play fourth down touchdown in Detroit's opening drive in Kansas City violated the rules. There's an unresolved question regarding how the violation was detected. The flag wasn't thrown immediately from the snap at which the violation occurred until the flag was thrown by referee Craig Wallstrad. 1 minute and 15 seconds elapsed. Wallstrad said that the penalty was called after discussion, quote unquote. The circumstances and the delay invited speculation that Rolstrat received guidance from the league office as to the situation. That speculation may be accurate. Appearing Wednesday morning on 97.1 The Ticket, Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell said he was told that New York made the call. That's not what Rolstrat told a pool reporter Matt Derrick after the game. Rolstad said that the call was made after discussion by the crew with no assistance from New York. So what's the truth? Who knows? But the broadcast showed Rolstad speaking directly to Campbell after the penalty was announced. In the end, they got it right, but if Campbell's version is accurate, they did it the wrong way in violation of clear, indisputable procedures for when the league office may assist the on-field officials. Coupled with the fact the final decision benefited the Chiefs, who had zero penalties called against them for the entire game, and it's time for some to take out the tinfoil hats again. Now, again, Lions fans are all too familiar with these types of things happening um,
Hmm.
to them. And, obviously, Garrett, um, we can go to the Calvin Johnson catch, no catch against Chicago. We can go back to the picked up penalty flag in the playoffs a couple, what was it back? It was at 20
January 2015 against Dallas, and then
against
Monday Night
Dallas.
Football 9 months later in Seattle,
Yep.
the fumble of the end zone rule, whatever the hell
Yep.
that was.
Yep. You can go
Um,
to the 10-second runoff against the Falcons. You can go to the was it the Justin Forsett Thanksgiving Day game touchdown when he was playing for the Texans, where Jim Schwartz threw the flag um, for a call that was apparently not reviewable, and Schwartz got a penalty for that, even though the referees missed the call, and then that's a rule they ended up changing that offseason, I believe. Again, you can go on and on and on with this stuff, and then
Number
You
70
know,
reporting is eligible.
exactly what
We
happened a
can't
couple years
not talk
ago.
about that if we're going to talk about potential things.
Yes. Yes. And it's this is just part of a pattern, Garrett, of instances where the Lions tend to come out on the short end of the stick with these officiating calls. And this one in particular may be even more egregious, though, because um, of the league's direct involvement with it.
Yeah.
The league's direct involvement with it tied in with the fact that the officials lied about it after the game. After the game was over, they lied about it. Not to mention that the call was made, what, a minute and what they say, 55 seconds after the play occurred. And again, I'm listening to some of these comments too, like when they're talking about, well, it's not reviewable, but all touchdowns are reviewable. Well, that's not the case here. This isn't a matter of them trying to figure out whether or not Jared Goff broke the plane or he came down with the ball in the end zone or anything like that. This was a play that happened before the touchdown occurred
Right.
because Jared Goff, like you said, was lined up in illegal motion and scored a touchdown from there. Again, the fact that he got into the end zone wasn't the factor here. So fans who are coming out and screaming, "Oh, well, oh, touchdowns are reviewable." No, that doesn't have anything to do with that right now. What everything that this has to do with is a call that was made that, first of all, isn't reviewable. Now, did they get it right? Yes. However, they got it right based on assistance from New York, which shouldn't have happened really to begin with, because right then and there, that's supposed to be the crew on the field making that call. And the fact that they did get assistance from New York in a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who
In
had
Arrowhead, in Kansas
in
City.
in Arrowhead, who had zero calls against them the entire game, that's when things start to get really suspicious. And I'm going to go ahead and say this too. Fans out there can save the sanctimonious bullshit too about, oh, well, the Lions should have played better. They don't put it in the referee's hands. Save it. Because this is an ongoing trend that we've been seeing in the NFL, not just with the Lions, but with the Chiefs on the other end of on the other end of the argument here, who have always seemed to get the benefit of the call when it comes to NFL officiating. Um,
And I'll meet you in the middle when I say it on the end of that wasn't the only thing. But when you also look at the fact that 6 days prior, the Chiefs had Monday night in Jacksonville, double digit penalty calls, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 11 or 13, somewhere around there,
mhm.
to then have no calls in an already difficult environment when you are so banged up that you have to play perfect and that hill is steep to then one have that call go against you and then to not have any of the penalties and not have a lot of seems like I fell asleep after we cut it down to 2017 and I woke up and I was checking Monday and it was just like I was like, oh, I don't want to look at Twitter. And Twitter was, after an experience like we've seen with Lions fans and stuff like this when we've had this. So these things, while not the sole reason why the Lions lost in Kansas City, made an already steep hill even steeper to climb. And the fact that it made those when we, for example, not converting fourth down just before the half, not picking up the fumble, it makes those things even more like magnet and difficult. And then it creates the situation with Brian Branch, who he got fucking picked. I mean, it was now should he have lost his cool that much at the end? No, and I am actually really glad that the league did not give him the Ndamukong Suh treatment as a air quote repeat offender by giving him more than one game, because that's what I thought was going to happen with that. Thankfully, he only got one game. I don't know if his appeals happen, Adam. You might know that or not. But that's my
I
point.
yeah.
Is this early on thing that happened, this call, and now that 3 days later after this match, when we should be getting ready and focusing on this Monday night occasion, we're now talking about it, is frustrating in that to me to an extent because it takes away what are we going to see Monday night at Ford Field, right? What are we going to see after the bye when we play the Vikings, Commanders? You know what I mean? It goes down and down and down the line. Now, what I would love to see is, does this remain a topic that is talked about just in Detroit, or does this get talked about in other markets or picked up nationally? That's what I want to know.
And you know what, too, Garrett? I'm actually surprised that this hasn't become a bigger deal nationally because this is the NFL. This is one of the biggest leagues in the world.
Hmm.
Um, it is most certainly the biggest professional league in the United States. And you hardly hear any talk about it. And that may be one of the most frustrating things about this because
The complicitness.
yes, that the media, that the national media, the Adam Schefters, the Rappaports aren't out there kind of waving their arms at this and saying, what the hell is going on? And then you could only again further suspect the reason for that. Is it because it's the Kansas City Chiefs who are, at the other, who are the ones that benefited from this? Is this, I mean, because you can go on and on about, the NFL being shady in this regard, but you could also go on too about whether, a company like ESPN with Adam Schefter is also in the bag about this too. Because ESPN hasn't been completely transparent, and we've seen them, dabble in, ventures that are that come with a conflict of interest, whether that be, their deals with the SEC and the SEC network and all that type of shit. Um, that I think I would be amiss if, or anybody couldn't be completely honest with themselves if they didn't believe something like that were to be true. If you sign these deals with these conferences, and all of a sudden, are you beholden to them? And the same thing goes with this too. I mean, ESPN has a large contract, I'm assuming, with the NFL to broadcast, Monday night games, and um shit like this just leads to that. Like, why isn't the national media making a bigger deal about this? Why isn't ESPN making a bigger deal about this? Why isn't one of the biggest NFL reporters like Adam Schefter not making a bigger deal that the league blatantly lied after this game? And would this be different though if it was Jacksonville who was the one that benefited from this call? Would Adam Schefter be then out there talking about this nonstop? Would this then be at the top of a Sports Center broadcast? Who knows? Who knows? I part of me at this point right now is tending to believe yes, that is absolutely the case. Yes, it would be at the top of a Sports Center broadcast. Yes, the ESPN morning show would be talking about it. Mike Greenberg would be talking about it the next day. But that's not what we're getting right now. We're getting crickets. We're getting, dial tones. That's what we're getting with this right now, and it sucks, and it sucks, especially because the Lions are good now. This isn't a shitty
Hmm.
Lions team anymore. This is a good Lions team who is one of the contenders of the Super Bowl. And again, I hate to put the tinfoil hat on, Garrett. I hate to do it, but
You know I won't. You know I won't.
but what did this come after? What did this play come after? It came after the Kansas City Chiefs kind of reeling this season, not looking very good, and potentially needing a pick me up here.
It would have been
Because the
2-4.
Lions go and what was it? That was the first touchdown of the game, right?
Yep.
Yep.
10-minute
So,
drive. 10-minute
yep.
drive. 10-minute
10
drive to
minute
start the game.
drive, taking lots of time off the clock. Um, all of a sudden, the Chiefs are in some sense of trouble here. So what does the league have to do? Do they have to go out and bail out their poster boy Patrick Mahomes and their poster franchise, the Kansas City Chiefs, to give them a little pick me up and give them a little mulligan and be like, okay, that opening drive doesn't mean anything because we're going to go ahead and take away that touchdown from the Lions. Again, but some of this is legitimate now. Some of this is legitimized because of the shit that the league has pulled after this game.
And we also know that this isn't the first time that this has happened in games, in particular with the Chiefs, and we know it won't be the last time. So
Nope.
I think it'll be fun to see as we get to the road to Monday night, and Ford Field, second time the Lions will be on Monday Night Football. How much steam, if any steam, does this topic pick up outside of this media market? And if there is coverage and there's talk about it, I want to see how that's being talked about and
Yep.
if that pushes the needle at all, if any way. That's what I'm going to be key on there. Now we've gone on this there. We got the road to Monday. Want to talk player additions?
Yeah, Lions ended up signing veteran cornerback Kendall Fuller to their practice squad. Obviously, the team is reeling a little bit based on injuries in that defensive secondary. Um, Terry and Arnold, Dan Campbell actually came out the other day and said that he could actually return after the bye, which was kind of crazy to think about because at one point it was sounding like Terry and Arnold was going to be gone for the rest of the season with that shoulder injury. Um,
Second opinions, folks.
Yeah. Second opinions. Who knows? Who knows where that second opinion is coming from? Is it coming from Lions team doctors or is it coming from outside organization doctors? Um, so obviously that's a move that they had to make. And it's not just that. I mean, they DJ
DJ
Reed is
Reed,
obviously
Khalil Dorsey, they're so banged
yeah.
up right now in the secondary.
Um Ennis Reichstraw didn't even see the field. He got hurt in training camp and is out for the rest of the season. So I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming at some point Kendall Fuller is going to see game action for the Lions. That's my thought. I think the addition to the practice squad is just kind of a procedural type of thing. It's a formality at this point that that it has to happen that way. So I fully expect Kendall Fuller to see game action for the Lions at some point, just because of how you know desperate in a sense they are right now in that
Mhm.
secondary. Now, the good news is though, Garrett, is Ali McNeil sounds like he's ready to come back almost at any time. So I don't know if he's going to be back this week or Monday night against Tampa Bay. They could certainly use him. Um, Especially going up against a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, you're going to need all the help that you can get against a guy like Baker Mayfield, especially coming off that game that they had against Patrick Mahomes.
First, and when you look at also, do we got a Kirby Joseph update before I get some further thoughts on Monday?
I don't have one with me. My assumption is Kirby Joseph's going to play.
Right. Especially with the branch suspension. I mean, we'll have to take a look because obviously Kirby going to the player tent, already going into Kansas City banged up, and that is when you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, which I got to give for those that have been continuously listening to our work, Adam was the first person of the two here that correctly predicted a Lions loss in this regular season so far. Going into this Monday night, Adam was saying we would be 3-3 with losses to the Ravens, Bengals, and the Chiefs. I would have had us going in at 5-1 with the only loss being to the Ravens. You've gotten the first one right. I've have predicted gone in saying we would lose to Tampa Bay. You had a win. But if I get that, so it's a double-edged sword. I would get the Tampa Bay prediction right if they win, but you'd get the record going into the bye right. So there's where we're currently at so far. My thing is
And
this.
you also reminded me too that I wanted that Cincinnati Bengals pick back too.
You immediately we turned off the red light for recording, and you're like, "Fuck, I want that back."
But I'll stick with it though. I will own it. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
So what I was going to say is this: this team is banged up. This team defensively. You're playing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that has been injured already for many times to start the year. No Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans. Already lost to Mecca Ibuka too, um, and they've been banged up at times defensively. Bucky Irving even too.
Yep.
But the Bucks are 5-1. They are finding ways to win. And Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is the current front runner candidate for an MVP award. How he's finding ways to get games won. And this is a difficult matchup normally. I am wondering how we're going to line up defensively. Elaine McNeil would be huge. It would be absolutely massive. It'd be that motivation, inspiring. It'd be of all these we talk about Detroit teams running on vibes. This is the most vibes team. Ali McNeil back on the Monday night in there would be the team runner vibe. Another thing I think you need to look forward to on the offensive side. Nolan Bianchi of Detroit News reported from Dan Campbell saying that the offense needs to get David Montgomery involved more. Um, 30 something percent of total snaps on Sunday. Um, do you see that as actually? I think the most percentage of snaps he's had all year was the game in Cincinnati. It was a homecoming return for him. How much do you see that actually? Yes, he will be involved, and do you see like how much getting him involved will be kind of what is needed on this offensive side to get over Tampa on Monday?
I mean, yeah, I mean, if that's what's being said, then you've got to suspect that that's going to be the case. The problem with the Lions, though, and their offense is that offense is so talented. It's so
Hmm.
talented, and at times there just may not be enough ball to go around.
Yeah.
This is a team that has two running backs that can be starters on any team in the NFL, just
Yep.
about any team in the NFL. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery are the best tandem running backs without question in the NFL right now. Um, Not only that, I mean, you've got an excellent tight end and Sam Laporta. You've got, um, a trio of really good wide receivers. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is without question a top five wide receiver in the National Football League. Um, and then you've got an excellent rookie in Isaac Tesla. And JMO has been a little quiet this, but again, that just goes to show like again, not enough ball to go around. Um, and they're even really deep in a lot of these areas too, especially at tight end. Um,
Rock right.
yeah, they're deep behind Sam Laporta. So um, I suspect that they will get David Montgomery going more. But like I said, it's tough. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have when you don't have a lot of ball to go around, and on a team too where you don't have a lot of you don't have a lot of divas either. You don't have really probably any divas on this team who are constantly bitching about, oh, I'm not getting enough playing time. I'm not getting enough ball touches. Um, so
If anything, you got people asking how can they help the team more.
yeah,
And I think that's like, so I think that's the good sign. I think going into that, I am intrigued to see how exactly you get David Montgomery involved. Because even with, if Tampa's banged up defensively, they are still going to pressure. They have a good run defense. And I think if you notice, if you take the run game away from the Lions and you force Jared Goff to have to throw a lot, that's where we've seen trouble with this offense. Like, what was it? Two, three picks last year in the game in September, which cost the Lions a defeat in week 2 of the 24 season against Tampa. So I think it was going to be a good litmus test because another thing, too, the last time the Lions lost consecutive games in a regular season or consecutive games period was during the 1-6 start in 2022, if I recall correctly.
yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, we're going on almost 3 years, about to, or maybe past that 3 year threshold since that's happened. So I think this is going to be a good prove it test. To be honest with you, I'm done talking about I've been done talking about Kansas City, and getting ready for Tampa. Yes, it sucks. I do want to see if the discussion and everything gets talked about more. I think questions do need to be raised because we're like I said, we're not the only ones that have seen this happen to, and it sucks. I think the players on the field should be deciding outcomes of games, plain and simple, in my opinion, regardless of what team you follow or support. Um, so I'll ask you this fun question, and then we can then talk about the other cat team in Detroit that makes us feel a whole lot of things. Um, Black uniforms are coming out on Monday for coming back out for Monday Night Football. Um, are they going to go with the black pants again, or are they going to, please us uniform lovers and give us the blue pants with it? What do you
I
think?
want the black pants.
I want to see the blue. I think the blue is the better aesthetic. We haven't
I want
seen
to
it yet.
see. I look. This is a team that has been wronged, and I think they need to go with the vengeance look right now. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
If only the NFL would have let you add helmets out of the blue so we can go with black helmets too.
Oh,
Then yeah.
that would be great if we could pull like an Oregon and just have like a yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do gloss helmet or would you do matte black helmet?
I would feel well because are our black uniforms a matte or a shiny black? They're kind
No.
of a they're kind of a black as night, so I wouldn't call them glossy, shiny type thing. Like, fuck. But our logo is black. Our logo is shiny. So
This is and you know what too?
this
This
is a
this
this is a you know what? This is a poll question. Drop this online for everybody.
I don't know if people are as nerdy about uniforms though as we are. Um, I think
People will talk about
this is like the muscle car look or something too. And I think in that sense, they would have to be like glossy just because to kind of match the finish of like a muscle car or something, you know?
or those Mach-E electrics that are with the Mustang logos with that blue paint and everything. Um, all
Why
right,
don't we
we
move on
ready to
though? Yeah, let's
yeah,
move on.
are we ready to talk about the other cat team?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Friday game five, I had the privilege of being at game four on Wednesday last week. My coworkers like, hey, girlfriend and I are upgrading. Do you want our original seats? Offered a reduced price and to pay whenever. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go. And I've witnessed a Tigers team at the time going 2-1 down against the Mariners after a rough game that was 3 hours delayed, showed up flat, got bumped, battered, what was it, 9-4, I think, in game three, fell behind 3-0 in game four. The crowd was, people were pissed. It wasn't a sellout in the playoffs. And then we saw a shift, 3 runs in the, I'm trying to remember the order, but 3 runs to tie the game, 4 runs in the next inning. The Javi Baez 2-run home run that was the loudest I've ever heard Comerica. You win game four, 9-3. You go to game five on Friday, Tarik Skubal on the mound. You're like, all right, we're moving. The vibe is good. We'll find a way and get to the ALCS, right? Uh, Skubal gives up a run in the first inning, pitches, winds up going six. Um, Pitches what, 13 strikeouts, I believe is what it is. I don't have the entire, but obviously questions are controversial. Why couldn't he go seven? Apparently, it seemed like that the AJ Hinch comments with Skubal of there was a mutual understanding after 5 innings that he could go one more, and that was it. Top of the sixth inning, Kerry Carpenter. Um, did Kerry Carpenter things in this series, 2-run home run. However, the Mariners get one back in the seventh off Kyle Finnegan, and we then witnessed a continuation that was a I'm trying to think of the right word. This reminded me so much of this Tigers. It encapsulated what we as Detroit Tigers fans witnessed this team at its lowest points this season, including the last month. Just multiple times of being so close and so able, but unable to get the job done, unable to succeed. I briefly nodded off in my hotel room in the 12th inning. When it was 2-2, and I to the point where my friend, because I was out for a wedding, and my buddy goes, "Yeah, you were snoring." I woke up, the bases were loaded. We had what, one out of the 12 with the bases loaded. Couldn't bring him home. finally, you could say, put out of our mercy in the bottom of the 15th inning with the Mariners winning, and then yeah. Now I wish I would have fallen asleep in the 12th inning. Now this Mariners are 2-0 up on the Blue Jays in the ALCS, looking like they actually might be the team of destiny coming out of the American League. But I want to get to, do you have anything before we get into the post the wrap conference that was done on Monday with Scott Harris, AJ Hinch? Did you have anything you wanted to talk about that 5+ hours or whatever the hell we're gonna call game 5 on Friday, going into Saturday morning, all that, other than we all left, we all finished that game different individuals than what we were when that first pitch started.
No, other than, I mean, what happened? You brought up the base loaded situation 1 out. I mean, it just stuff like that, like just goes to show like they missed opportunities during the season at the trade deadline. I mean, um just the criminal approach that this team took when it came to, trying to prepare themselves for a stretch run and the playoffs and the glaring needs that they had at the plate. And again, in all honesty, too, Garrett, this wasn't just a glaring need at the trade deadline. It was a need that they also had this past off season,
Yep.
where they needed to get bats in here, and they didn't do it then. And then they didn't do it at the trade deadline. And then lo and behold, um, they're able to take Seattle to a game 5 on the road in a position to win it with the bases loaded, and they can't get that run across.
Nope.
And it's just one of those things that you're going to look back on too. Um, and just think about, what if they did things different? What if they went out and got a bat at the deadline? Would they
Right.
still be in that situation? And you can go back. I mean, is this going to be? I mean, it's not going to be, but the David Ortiz um home run.
Grand Slam Game 2,
Yeah, the Grand
2013.
Slam.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just those what if things with the Tigers. It's always that right now. It's always that what if situations with the Tigers. And
7
I
and
mean,
17 to end the 7 and 17 to end the regular season. 2 and 10 in your final 12 regular season home games. The fucked up thing was I saw the last regular season home win. Saw the last two home wins of this Tigers season. The last regular season win on September 6th, and then the last one, and the only playoff win. They were a month apart.
yeah.
You had almost a 10-game lead on teams in the final month of the season, and the thing is I think it's mental. Yes, a bat is important and everything like that. And I think when we'll go into Monday, there's something about this team. When they're off, they are fucking off.
I hear you, Garrett. I hear you about the mental aspect of this, but I think a commitment to this team, a monetary commitment. That's not to say,
Yeah.
again, that's not to say that Chris Ilitch is totally devoid of providing a monetary commitment to this team, because yes, payroll did increase. The
Yep.
thing is, though, is a deadline deal doesn't necessarily add payroll to the team.
Nope.
And I'm just talking about a commitment to winning, a commitment to fixing what is wrong with this with the team, or what was wrong with the team. And I think that commitment and seeing another guy in the clubhouse who could help you win and could push some of these guys to be better than what they actually are, that's huge. I mean, look at it from this way too, Garrett. What When they were first in that slump,
The
you
July
know,
slump you're talking about?
yes. What was one of the things that sparked um, them to get out of it? It was the return of
Barry
Gary
Carpenter coming
Carpenter.
back. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, imagine, if they were able to do that at the trade deadline as well.
Hmm.
getting a guy in here. And it's not even that. Wonder if they were able to bring in McGonagall too.
Yeah.
And him, just come up here and provide just a little bit of hope, just a little bit of hope. So we're not stuck seeing, Trey Sweeney out there. Um,
The decline of Parker Meadows, which we have to talk about because AJ Hinch made changes with Parker Meadows all throughout the playoffs at times. But in game 5, 0 for 6. I mean, well, when you look at that, it's just those things because guys, when they were off, that switch, a little change can sometimes do a whole lot of good. Um, which you mentioned Kerry Carpenter, his stat line, the only other person to do what he did in an elimination game in a playoffs was Babe Ruth in Game 7 of the 1926 World Series. If only one other person had an 18th of that, we'd be in the ALCS right now.
and again, you look at shit like that, Garrett, and that's great. That is awesome. And it provides you some hope for next season. But imagine if they had another guy to go along with that.
Yep.
The Tigers could be playing the Blue Jays right now in the ALCS.
Hmm.
And I mean, I know we want to be off in like 10 minutes here. So
What did you
let's
think of
keep
Monday? The comments from Harris and Hinch.
and this is great. I liked what I was hearing. But there is a proven aspect to all of that too. I love
100%.
them bringing I love them bringing back AJ Hinch. I mean, I don't know where fans are getting off, being upset about them bringing back AJ Hinch. The only reason why they're in the position they were, why they were able to beat Cleveland, why they were able to overcome all the shit that they had to deal with the second half of the season, not getting any help up here, why they took Seattle to a game 5 when they probably shouldn't have been in that position anyway. It's because of
Yeah,
AJ Hinch.
100%.
Um, AJ Hinch is one of the best managers of Major League Baseball. You could probably make a good argument that he is the best manager in Major League Baseball. Um,
The only other guy that might be a little bit underneath him, in my opinion, is an AL manager, and I think I would put Steve like not at AJ Hinch's level, but just below, and in honorable discussion is Stephen Vogt. That's the only other one I'd put with AJ Hinch right now. Maybe unless Dan Wilson leads Seattle to a World Series, and then I'll be like, okay.
yeah, and this is the thing too. I mean, what do the Tigers want with it? What do fans want with this? Do they want to run into like a twin situation where they had to trot out Rocco Baldelli, for a couple of seasons and it just ended in total disaster? Like,
One
I
season
don't.
too many, but in our neutral opinion of the Twins,
How
but
many
that's
how many
another
years was he
story.
there? 2 years?
More than that, I thought,
Was
but
it three?
maybe
I mean, it was
three.
probably however many years he was there. It was that many too many.
Yowdy, if you're checking this out, let us know in a side chat, please and thank you.
I just don't know what fans want. I mean, and again, Chris or not Chris Harris, Scott Harris, as far as like Skubal goes, talking about having the resources to sign him and everything like that. I mean that
Prove it.
exactly. Prove it. Because you know what would make how this season ended and what they didn't do at the trade deadline a whole lot better is if they go and offer Skubal and he accepts some massive contract offer, some long-term contract offer. I don't care for how many years it is. And this is the thing too with this. You hear fans going out there talking about, oh, well, the money, the term.
Why does
Why
he only
should
go 6 innings in an elimination game? This and that.
why?
It's
I mean,
all
as
of
far
it.
as like the money goes, like why are fans so concerned about a billionaire's wallet? Why are they concerned about that? In a league where there is no salary cap, why are they
Bingo.
concerned about that? You shouldn't be concerned about that. You know what else too, Garrett? I don't give a shit about what year 9 looks like of that Tarik Skubal contract. I don't care. I don't care. What I'm worried about are those first 4 years. That's what I'm worried about. And if we have to suffer with 6 years of Tarik Skubal after that, then so be it. Then you know what? We'll figure out a way then. But right
What's the one?
now,
What's the thing that you know I want more than anything out of anything Detroit sports wise? You know what I
um,
want more
an
than anything.
orange Tigers alternate.
Uniform talk. Uniform talk to the side. You know what I'm results wise. You know what I want.
What do you want?
I want a Tigers World Series.
Yes.
That's the top. That is the more so than a Lion. You want Lions Super Bowl
No,
one.
I
I
want
want
Leon.
Tigers.
And for me,
Huh?
yeah, it's not even close. It's a Lions Super Bowl. And
But for
I can't believe you are that
in my lifetime, I haven't had a Tigers World Series in my
I haven't really
lifetime.
had it in my lifetime either. I mean, I don't remember an 84 World Series.
You were born there. You
You are
you were
crazy though. You are crazy not to want a Lions Super Bowl ahead of anything else.
for a
That is
while. I
cra
didn't think the Lions Super Bowl was ever going to happen in my lifetime until the
that is
last few years,
that
where
is
I've seen it.
that is crazy talk. It is crazy talk coming from you.
Crazy did run. Crazy is part of my family. You know this well. Um, so, um, AJ Hinch, I did like what he was saying, especially when he talked about thoughts about Riley Green and striking out, obviously concerning numbers. But it seems like though that whereas I'm curious to see the approach of some, I did like Harris, like yeah, I deserve some of the criticism while trying to explain himself for the reasons that he had. Um, Alex Bregman opting out, he'll be in the market again.
Here we go
Uh,
again. Here we go again.
Glaber Torres testing the market. I think Jack Flaherty's testing the market. Kyle Finnegan's testing the market. Um, if you are the Detroit Tigers and you're looking like you're not going to get anywhere in the Skubal contract stuff going into his last year, do you make a move to get something for him?
No, no, mm-mm. No, because I'm expecting the Tigers to be in the same situation they were going in next year. I'm expecting them to be challenging for the division, and I expect them to be in contention to win a World Series. And that doesn't happen without Tarik Skubal, which is why they need to re-sign him to a long-term deal. Um, as far as some of these other guys go, I'm fine with them testing the market. I wouldn't have any problem with them bringing back Finnegan. I wouldn't have any. I honestly, I wouldn't have any problem with them bringing back uh, Jack Flaherty either. I think he had a down year this year. But I thought, look at the numbers. He was very good against good teams.
Playoff
If I,
caliber teams.
yeah, playoff caliber teams, and that just tells me it was just a down year for him. And I think you could probably get him on the cheap based on the year that he had this year. Um, Gleyber Torres, he's going to have hernia surgery over in the off season. I don't know quite where he would fit in with this team. Um, because I'm assuming McGonagall going to get some real looks in spring training as far
Oh,
as coming up.
Clark might get even looks too.
So I don't know quite where he may fit in. And yes, I would absolutely go after Bregman again this year.
I'd go
Um,
after Pete Alonso too. I'd go after any Eugenio Suarez. I'd go after
yes, yes,
any
absolutely.
bat that's not going to be Juan Soto money.
Yes. I just try to look at that pitching staff too, because obviously Reese Olson's going to be back next year to start the season, because there was talk about him coming back this year in the playoffs if they were happened to go far enough. Um,
And I think his injury completely affected the plan going into the deadline to an extent, and that was something over the long term we did not recover from.
yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen with Jackson Jobe and when he's going to be ready next year, coming off Tommy John. He's definitely not going to be ready for the start of the season. Um,
I would expect him to be July or August just to be safe, and if it's
that's what
earlier than that, and if it's
that's what
earlier
I'm
than that, I'll take him.
yeah, that's probably what I'm expecting too, which means they're gonna have to add another arm, probably. They're gonna have to
Yeah,
add another arm. But I'm paying a whole bunch of attention to what they're able to do offensively. Um, that's one of my main concerns. I would love to see McGonagall get a real look. And if he's not, if they're not in on Bregman or they can't get Bregman, then I wouldn't mind them bringing back a Gleyber Torres. Um, but I just don't want to bring the band back. I want to see improvements though with some of this as well.
Yeah,
Um, I want to see a Gleyber, excuse me, I want to see a Gleyber Torres and somebody else.
yeah.
I want to see McGonigal and somebody else. Um, so yeah,
Last question on the Tigers. With this season done, player that you felt of this squad the most, you felt good about the most, even, maybe even more so as the season ends going into next year.
can be any player, even a pitcher.
Even a pitcher.
um, this is gonna sound weird. Isn't Javi Baez a guy that I mean it's for me it's Kerry Carpenter, probably number one.
Yeah.
Um Again, given the needs of the team. But Javi Baez wasn't um a guy that just blew everyone away this year. But he is a guy that came back from an awful, awful, awful 2024 season
Hmm.
where there were a lot of questions on whether or not he was actually going to come back
Right.
to a guy who became a real team guy, um, showed a lot of versatility, whether it's playing the infield or playing the outfield. Um, Brought some things back with the offensively as well. So I am a little encouraged by Javi Baez going into next season as well.
Javi's my number two, but Kerry, I think from like with you, I'm Kerry Carpenter because I think this is now what we've seen. You do not now you play him against lefties too.
Mhm.
That I think it's unleash him fully.
And that was absolutely key this, being able to play him against lefties. So that's a very good point.
And the player that you most that took the biggest downswing.
Parker Meadows.
Yeah.
Parker Meadows without question.
The what if he didn't get that injury? Yes, it's a significant injury,
Yeah.
but and I get you want to play him, but I think it did us more damage than good.
Yeah. Um yeah.
So much to the
Um
point that I used his banter as part of that as my best man speech this weekend. Sorry, Parker, but you got to do better. You got to do better, man.
you're a sicko. Let's finish up here because I know we're up against it now. The Red
Red
Wings.
Wings.
Yep,
Yep.
Red Wings, Garrett. They're actually playing right now. Last I saw was 0-0 at first intermission, which you know what
Got the
is
game on. They're looking pretty good right now against the
I'll I'll
two-time defending champs.
I'll take it. I'll take a 0-0 at first intermission against the Florida Panthers, who could very well go out and win another Stanley Cup at the end of the season. Um, Here's the thing, Garrett. With this Red Wings team right now, they've got their fair share of rookies in the lineup. They've got the big three in there. Um, well, not the big three. I don't know if Emmett Finney's can be considered. You know,
One's injured right now, Lucas Raymond. Oh yeah,
Lucas
that's another
Raymond's
one.
injured right now, but the thing is they very well could have be 3-0 right now. They very well could be 3-0. That Montreal game, they were the
Angered
better
me.
team. They were the
Angered.
better team.
Yeah,
Um, for at least the first period, they're out shooting them. Then something happened where they just
we didn't
quit. They
defend.
Yeah, they couldn't defend. They had some massive, massive brain overlapses in their own end. And when that third period came around, that was the most useless third period I hope we see all season. Um,
This I talked about something last year, even in our side combos. Having Todd McClellan for a full season,
yeah,
and seeing Friday his reaction post game to a loss like that, and the words he said at practice, apparently, and how we reacted after being 2-0 behind against the Leafs on Saturday to then score six. Granted, two of them were empty nets, but who gives a fuck? And then you win 3-2 in Toronto, being outshot 40-15.
Yeah. That's I think that's a difference right there is Todd McClellan
Yeah.
and calling out his team. I mean, he's not going out there and um
Babcocking it.
yeah, Babcocking it or, throwing individual players under the bus. Um, he's going out there, he's calling out leadership. I think that's fair game. He's going out there and calling out the leadership of this team, going out there and calling out players who have been here for a while. Um, and saying, what the hell is going on? I mean, this tells me that there's going to be a lot of short leashes with this squad right now, especially like a guy
Yeah.
like Michael Rasmussen. And you saw that too with guys not being in the lineup that following game against Toronto.
Yeah.
Um, And I think that's good. I think holding these players to account is a good thing, and we're seeing that continuing to carry over. And you mentioned it against, that follow-up game against Toronto, the matinee, on Monday, and you're even seeing it right now against the Panthers. Red Wings playing really, really well, and right now tonight they're without one of their best players, in Lucas Raymond.
Yeah.
Um, so it's all very, very encouraging with this team right now.
You need to basically, and granted, we're 127th of the way through the regular season right now, basically, roughly. I do think these next three at home is the Panthers tonight, Tampa Bay on Friday, Edmonton on Sunday. I think it's a good test to see where this team could go. All of them at
Sure.
home. But I do think this. People bitch about the goaltending. I'm going to say this. Doesn't matter who's in goal. If your defense shows up plays like they did against Montreal in Game 1, you're going to have that regardless of who the hell is in net. Um, this team needs to basically have their head on it's play with their head on a swivel, and I think that's like Tom Cullen's the kind of guy. Like even we won 3-2 on Monday. He was it was a look when you watch him walk out of that bench off out of the bench, and then that post match interview. Um, it was a look of response like thank fuck that's over. Um, And I think at that point, that's what you want. I think he's that guy that you need. This is the tough love guy. I'm intrigued by the kids, all of them. I know Nate. You said Nate Danielson's hurt, but I feel good that we're actually. This should have happened last year with a lot of younger guys and people being in the spots. Like Marco Casper should have been on opening night last year. Um,
Nate Danielson
hopefully,
probably should have opening night last year.
yeah. Um, and wonder if we'll get to see Carter Mazer too. Once like is he 100% healed? What's he at with that forearm?
Is he
Um,
playing? He's not in Grand Rapids, right? I have to go double check.
yeah,
Um,
but
but
it's one of those things where you know who your heavy hitters of the Atlantic are going to be. You know it's going to be Florida. You know it's going to be Tampa. Toronto's a big question mark with Mitch Martin, with like who's going to fill the Mitch Martin role. So if in I think Montreal is going to be a better up step from the wild card team. So that means if it's say
Ottawa's up
Florida,
there too.
yeah. So you're going to probably battle with Ottawa because I mean Montreal and Ottawa might battle each other out for third. Who are you going to fill the role in? Because the Atlantic should have at least four playoff teams. I don't know if there's going to be a fourth Metro team just because of goal for the Red Wings in there. Wings are up 1-0. Looked like there was one that did it go in, did it not go in. I got the sound off, so I can't fully tell you what the smells everything on there. Point being is it's Mason Appleton again. So a guy
Hero the other
that
day, or either hero the other day in Toronto.
45 seconds left. A guy that I looked at that move like, what are we doing here? So the point is this. I was telling my coworker this when he was like, yeah, we got a hockey team. We got to see what this team is at Thanksgiving. We got to see what this team is at Christmas. And if they are riding a good wave, kind of like this, going into Thanksgiving and going into Christmas, um, yeah, um, maybe we could feel good about some things. Um,
I think
but
And I feel good right now. I feel good about the kids. Emmett Feeney already
Yeah.
has a few assists to his credit.
Yeah.
Working on that top line, and that's no easy task, coming out having to work on a
Right.
line with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. I mean, that's
Mhm.
if he's able to keep up with that, which it looks like he has been, even though Lucas
Yeah.
Raymond's out right now. I mean, that's a feat in of itself. NBN looking good out there too. Um, Axel
Yeah.
Sandin Pelika is rang a couple off the post.
And
Looking
he's going to
good
have his
too.
growing pains defensively. Monday was
Sure.
a growing pain moment, but it's like, how do you react,
Yep.
over the course of an 82 game season, soon to be 84 next season.
Yeah. So I'm encouraged, but I agree with you too. We've got to see where this team um there's going to be these little benchmarks, like you said. Let's see what they look like at the end of the month. Let's see what they look like at Thanksgiving. Let's see what they look like at the break. It's and all that's fair. All of that is very fair considering where this team is coming from right now, um and what they're rolling out with. I mean, are we a year late in what they should have been rolling out with last year? Yeah, probably. um JVR too was another guy that came back and was effective right off the bat. So again, good things. Like you said, Mason Appleton, another good one, another solid performance, scores a goal tonight. So yeah, I'm encouraged, but yeah, we just need to see more, and you just hope that they can continue um what we've been seeing, because we saw how things went last year. We saw how streaky they were last year before that international break. And um
The
are we gonna have
collapse
another
after it.
are we gonna have another international break this year?
Yeah. Olympics.
Yeah, damn it. Damn
So,
it.
I mean, that's the thing in particular. It's like there's going to be a lot of, you're going to see a lot of growing thing. And that's making sure that this team sticks, they don't change from the beating path. You are committing to the kids right now to start the season. You stick with the kids no matter how difficult here. No random ass big trays and anything, because the last thing you want is another guy on a big on a heavy contract that's like a cop or a comper on there when you're taken away from one of these things. Steve Eisman, as we determined, is not my favorite. The free agency hasn't been, I think, had been his best thing here since being Red Wings general manager. But I do think scouting young talent through the system has been.
Yeah.
So that is, give them the moments on there. And then you also have to look at this. Cam Talbot seems to be if he keeps playing like this, he may be a number one on there, and you give John Gibson the time. But do you also then maybe try to throw some Sebastian Cossa minutes here and there and everything? That's going to be the other thing, because that's the big if question mark. That, next to Lions fans on Twitter arguing about officials and stuff like that, when during the Red Wing season, is whatever Eiserman dog Sebastian Kosher people get all hot and heavy on it. So we'll see how that all goes here and everything. So, but yeah, I think that's it for me. I think it's
Yeah.
Centennial unis are fresh. The logo thing is fresh. Again, the wing wheel logo with the red and then the white, my preferred wing wheel logo there.
With the
So
red and then the white. Wait, what are you talking about?
So you know how the Centennial logo is the OG, like an OG winged wheel. So
Yeah.
the current winged wheel that they made it formatted in the 80s was the white on the top and then kind of the red. The wings inside the wheel were red. Whereas in the OGs, it was the red on the top and then the white on the bottom and like the wheel portion. So pay attention, do a side by side when you get a moment. You'll know what I'm
Okay.
talking about. I like the
Okay.
throwbackness of this wing wheel logo to the
Okay.
full.
Um,
We got
let's
anything
go.
else?
No, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Because
Pistons
we're
start next week. Hell yeah.
Yep. And we'll be, you know what, with the Pistons coming up next week, we'll be back again next week as well. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of stuff to cover. So yeah, we'll be back again next week, at
Detroit
some
City,
point.
folks. New episode of Make City Make Spends was recorded with Adam and Sean earlier in the week. Look for that to drop,
Yep, that's getting
or be
ready to
already
drop.
out by the time this has been out.
Yep.
Same for 451 Tunnel Talk.
Yep. And you can find us on all the socials at TMS Next Detroit. You could find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at TMS Next Adam, and make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast at any major podcasting platform, as well as YouTube, youtube.com/the majors TV. And check us out at our website too, detroit.themajorsports.com.
Hell yeah. TMSNX Adam for him, GM Comets for me on wherever you can find your socials. Glad to be back at us. Thanks to everybody for checking us out. And yeah, hopefully the next time we gather this, we don't have have to bitch at referees or lack of productive efforts by anybody in the Detroit sports uniform. May they channel the vibes of this current Wayne's team and we keep on rolling, right?
All right. Yep. We will see you guys next time.
See you later.